Difficult things don't exist. Hard things don't exist. They're just new. Woo! Welcome all to your space for everything empowerment. I am your host, Tariq Williams, and not only I am Vision of Hope, but this is the we thing here. This is the we are Vision of Hope. This is your space for everything empowerment. That's what we do here. That's what we do. Okay? You know, it's interesting. So often in the world today, burnout is the norm. That's not what we're talking about in this podcast today, but burnout, feeling stressed, that's the norm. On this podcast here, being empowered is the norm, which might lead you to why you decided to listen to this episode, because the matter of which we're speaking about, when you look at the title and you see difficult things don't exist, you immediately are like, whoa. That's a falsehood. He's lying to us. That's not true. Difficult things exist. So I want to make sure that I emphasize clearly on what I'm speaking about. Now, when it comes to health situations, situations where you can't really do things, and let's say health issues that really reflect things with like your actual life, right? You know, that those things can be difficult. There's no doubt about that. But when I'm talking about the fact that difficult things don't exist, I'm speaking specifically on the goals that you're working towards, or the journey when you say that this is so hard, it's so difficult, right? I can't do the thing. That's not real, okay? That is not real. And I know that sounds crazy, but you're here to learn about goal setting here on the podcast. You want to understand your goals here on the podcast, obtaining and getting to your dreams on the podcast. So that's what we're going to do today on the podcast. All right, let's get it. But first, on this episode, I'm going to go into a little bit of a story for you all today, so you can kind of start to just understand a little bit of my thought process. You're going to hear a story. After that, I'm specifically going to explain why difficult things don't exist. And then after that, go into if difficult things did exist, what you need to understand fully about it. As you all know, I have the podcast here. I have my business. I do the coaching, right? I want to bring you also something that you need to do when you're building a business, and you need to work on what it means to put yourself out there more. So if you're building a business, you're trying to build a brand, what you have to do is put yourself out there more, right? I am in Tucson, Arizona, okay? I've lived here now for, wow, over 7 years, which is wild to think. I'm originally from Pennsylvania and lived in Louisiana for a little bit, and now I'm here in Arizona, and I've been here for 7 years. Someone said, "Oh, you're from here now." I don't feel like I'm from here. And one of the reasons why is because I don't feel like I have much community here in Tucson. All right. I don't have much community, but it's something that I'm working on here. And in order to work on building community, I need to put myself out there and build my community, right? I actually have to leave my house and go talk and meet new people. And I have taken steps to do that. So I've joined Tucson Business Networking. I actually had the founder of Tucson Business Networking on the podcast a few weeks ago. But I've joined Tucson Business Networking for an opportunity to go out and meet new people, all right? Sometimes I go to their afternoon events, but on this specific occasion, I'm going to talk about a time where I went to their middle of the day, their lunch event. And believe it or not, it was cold here in Arizona that day. I was wearing a jacket. And I walk into the space, and it's by the University of Arizona football stadium. Really awesome facility, okay? It's a really awesome facility. If you don't know, University of Arizona is really known for their basketball and football teams for the college out here. There's Arizona State and there's University of Arizona, both big time schools. Now, I go to the event and they haven't started serving lunch yet. And so I'm walking in and I talk to a couple people as I'm getting ready to go into the event, and then I sign in. And there's probably over, let's say 150, 200 people there. Okay. I could be wrong, but let's say about that. All right. And I go into the event and people are talking and connecting with each other. And I'm walking around. I have my white cane with me. I'm walking around and trying to figure out what it looks like to spark up a conversation with someone if nobody approaches me. Now, I'm there for a few minutes. A couple people talk to me, and I start a conversation with another person or so. And this might surprise you for somebody that puts themselves out there so often here on the podcast and on social media. But when I'm in new spaces with a bunch of people I don't know, I find myself being a little bit quieter than I would like. So I didn't talk to that many people while I was there, right? There was a key word in that last sentence. We'll see if you guys picked up on it. And so I talked to a few people and I had some good conversation. But then once I started talking to one person, I found it difficult and uncomfortable to move to the next person to speak with because I just started getting comfortable talking to the person I was just speaking with. So let's say I probably spoke and had genuine conversation with about four different people. All right. I got the opportunity to introduce myself to the entire group. That was neat. But aside from that, I didn't really talk to anyone. And so you could say because I struggle in new places, it was difficult. It was hard for me to be able to talk to different people who I don't know, to be able to make community and talk to other business owners. Now, you would probably also say that being blind and crossing the street and doing those things are really difficult as well. But if you've been to a few podcast episodes, you would understand where I'm going right now. So when I was learning how to cross the street as a blind person at Louisiana Center for the Blind and a bunch of different trainings I had done in the past, it was very difficult. But I went to a training center and I practiced it. I practiced it. I practiced it to the point now where I can cross streets blind and with a blindfold on with my current available vision, and it's no big deal. To the point where now, when I don't only cross streets as a blind person myself, I literally have taught other blind people how to do it in a time where I never thought I would get there. So, was it difficult to do that particular thing? Is it difficult for me to go to new places, to be able to speak and make new connections? Is the thing that you're going through right now and building your brand new business, is that a difficult thing for you to go through or communicate with somebody that you don't really communicate with? I told you on the very beginning of the podcast, difficult things don't exist. Hard things don't exist. They're just new. They're just new. We know that perfect doesn't exist. However, we think that if it's not perfect the first time, then it's really difficult. It's really hard to do that thing for the first time, right? It's so hard to cross the street as a blind person. It's so difficult at my new job. It's so difficult to be able to talk to this one person. Well, how about you take the time to get good at it? See, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like in life, if things are, we know that perfect doesn't exist. However, we expect for perfect to exist. Does anybody realize that? Perfect does not exist. However, we expect for perfect to exist. Newsflash, it definitely does not. But if you want to get there, you got to make progress. Progress over perfection. And then it gets easy. You know, when I used to teach blind students and blind people in general, blind adults, when I used to talk to them about their mindsets and how to travel with the white cane and how to travel as a blind person, what I would tell them, the first step in teaching a blind person how to travel is just walking back and forth in the hallway. And they're struggling how to navigate around different chairs and obstacles, and they don't know how to navigate around in the hallway, right? I say, listen, this might not sound like the most fun thing in the world, but what we're going to do here is you're going to basically walk back and forth in this hallway until you get comfortable. And because you got to feel comfortable walking in the hallway before you go outside towards the street. So I say to people, I say, once you're walking back and forth in the hallway and it's starting to get boring, that's when you know you're getting it. Okay? That's when you know you're getting it. When you start feeling comfortable, that's when you know you start getting it. See, we understand, and you've heard this quote a million times. True growth starts when you're out of your comfort zone, when you're uncomfortable, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. We all talk about it, but yet when it comes to putting it into action, we don't do it. So do difficult times and hard times exist when you're getting to your goal specifically? The answer is no, they're just new. They are just new. So then as we go on to this next piece here, so then we want to quit, right? We want to quit, we want to stop. And I'm really big on this quitting thing right now because we're in February now. And I told y'all, but 80% of people quit on their goals the second Friday of January. 80%. So you're telling me we're in February now. So where's my 5% at? Where's my 5%? Or I want to find those 80%. If you know somebody part of that 80%, bring them to this podcast right now as we speak. They don't got to listen to the whole thing. Let's come right now. Okay. I don't know how much time we have left, and whatever second we're at, have them fast forward to this. Okay. But if you don't listen to the whole thing, there's value everywhere. Hard things don't exist. I explained to you why. I gave you the story. Right? Hard things don't exist. Difficult things don't exist. They're just new. But let's push forward. Let's say for some reason, difficult things exist because you're not acknowledging the lesson you're getting from the struggle. You're not acknowledging what you're learning from the struggle. You're not acknowledging that it's just something new. Okay. So let's say for a moment, hard things don't exist. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's say they do exist just for a moment. Just for one moment, we're going to say that difficult things exist. You need to hear this. You're at a place where you're at that struggle, where you're at that hard, where you're at that difficulty. You're at that place where you're at that difficulty, you're at that struggle, and you're waiting for your opportunity. You're waiting for your opportunity. Now, here's the problem with waiting for an opportunity. Opportunity is literally every moment we have. Every moment we have. Literally, there's no such thing as not an opportunity. So literally, you think of opportunity as an advantage. I'm telling you, every moment is an opportunity if you decide to take it or not. What did you do today? That's not, I mean, I guess it's a rhetorical question because I'm talking to you through the podcast, but reflect on it. What did you do today? Did you take advantage of your opportunity to your goal? Did you give yourself grace? Did you put in action? Did you give yourself the rest that you needed to then be productive tomorrow? Whatever it might look like, you had an opportunity to get better if it's resting or if it's working towards the goal. Either way, no matter what, they both work in your favor. But now that we understand that opportunity is anything and everything, for some reason, you're still waiting for your opportunity, right? Because it's really difficult right now. But here's the problem. If difficult things do exist, here's the problem. You're waiting on things to get easy before you put in the work. You are waiting for things to get easy before you put in the work, but it does not work like that. In order for things to get easy, you have to work towards it. You have to put in the work, then it will get easy. Then it will get comfortable. But if you sit and wait for things to get easy before you put in work, and you're going to quit. You're going to quit because things become comfortable, things become easy by you putting in the work. People have it confused. People have it confused. You think it's just going to get easy. It's going to be the perfect moment. But the answer is no. In order for things to get easy, in order for things to get comfortable, you have to put in the work first. So if difficult moments do exist, which they don't, they're just new. They're just new. And they only become simple. They only become quote unquote easy. They only become making progress by actually putting in the effort. So I encourage you today to think about, reflect on where you're at. See, that's what the Prioritize You workbook that I have is all about. That's what the Recognize Your Vision coaching program is all about. We talk about reflection. We talk about visualization. We talk about what it means to innovate, to really build your mindset to actually get results. But results don't happen by sitting and waiting. By sitting and waiting. If you want something different in 2025, you have to start doing something different in 2025. The only thing that I would say needs to be a constant is your consistent effort, but you gotta put in the work. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I would love to. One-on-one coaching, come check me out. All right. Let's make it happen in 2025 because ultimately we only have right now. The past is in the past. The past is in the past. It's time to put in the action because you deserve it. But we've talked about this already. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you earn. Thank you so much for listening to the Speak Your Vision podcast. Not only I am Vision of Hope, but we are Vision of Hope. This is your space for everything empowerment. Leave me a comment, text us, do what you got to do. Let's make it happen. Let's do something different. Let's make it happen this year. Come on now. Vision.